Today's lesson will be on patterns and sequences. Today's goals. Students will be able to find the next three numbers in a numerical sequence. Students will be able to identify the rule that the sequence follows so that we can predict the next term. And students will be able to define sequence, term, and arithmetic sequence. A number sequence is a list of numbers that follows a pattern. Once you know what that pattern is, you can predict the next numbers or term in the sequence. Here's a little poem I wrote to get us started. What comes next? It's easy to see. Just look at the pattern like 1, 2, 3. At times you must add, subtract, or divide. Other times simply multiply. If at first you don't see it, please don't give up. You need careful eyes, patience, sometimes a little luck. Just list all the ways a number gets from here to there, and before you know it, a pattern will appear. All right, here's our vocabulary for today. The first word is sequence. A sequence is an ordered set of numbers. The way that I know if a set of numbers is a sequence is if I can identify a rule and predict what comes next. So let's take a look at this sequence. I can see that to get from 10 to 13, then I'm going to do plus 3. To get from 13 to 16, it's plus 3, and 16 to 19, it's plus 3. So I can predict that next will be 22. So it is a sequence. A term is what we call each number in a sequence. So I have the same sequence. I'm just going to point to 10 because 10 is a term, the first term. 13 is the second term, 16 is the third term, and 19 is the fourth term. An arithmetic sequence is when numbers in a sequence go up by the same amount each time. So it has to be an addition pattern, but not only that, we have to add the same amount each time. We already decided up here with this pattern that we added 3 each time. So it is an addition pattern, and we're adding the same number each time. So that is an arithmetic sequence. All right, let's go ahead and try a little exploration here. Here's our problem. I began building the following pattern below with toothpicks. Each day I continue the pattern. How many toothpicks will be in the design I make on the 7th day? We're going to fill in a table to help us figure this out. So I created a table. The top row tells me what day it is, and the bottom row tells me how many toothpicks I need for that day's figure. So on day 1, my figure looks like this. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and put in the days. So it's going to be day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So let's look at how many toothpicks I needed on day 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. So day 1, I needed 4 toothpicks. Day 2, I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, on day 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 8, 9, 10. Now, hopefully you're noticing that we have the same figure we did the day before, so I already know that this will take 10, and then I'm just adding 3 more. So the 4th day is 13. I can also look at my table here and say, how do I get from 4 to 7? That's going to be plus 3. To get from 7 to 10 is plus 3, 10 to 13 plus 3. So I can tell that my pattern is to add 3 each time. So 13 plus 3 is 16, plus 3 is 19, plus 3 is 21. So I know that on day 7 I will need 21 toothpicks. If we do it visually and I ask you to draw what the next figure will look like, I'm going to copy this. So have 4. And then again, we just added 1 box each time. And now it's going to have 5. All right, let's look at another pattern. All right, so we have 96, 84, 72. Again, what I like to do is I draw like a frog jumping from number to number. And I tell what's happening to get from 96 to 84. I can see that I am subtracting 12. I could always use my calculator to see what that difference is. Now, we can't just stop there. We have to make sure that subtracting 12 continues to be what is happening. And sure enough, 84 minus 12 is 72. So I'm pretty confident that that's my pattern. So I'm going to continue to subtract 12 and get 60, 48, and 36. So if I was asked what my rule is minus 12. My next term is 60. All right, let's take a look at the next one. Now I'm going to look at how do I get from 1 to 3. Well, there's two ways. I can add 2, or I could also multiply by 3. So we need to keep going and see which rule continues to work. All right, so then from 3 to 6 is plus 3, and 3 to 6 is times 2. So I might say that I'm stuck and nothing's working. But let's keep going, let's keep writing what's happening and see if a pattern kind of pops into our head. I think you're going to see it pretty soon. Let's try addition again. 6 to 10, we're going to write what's happening, plus 4. 6 to 10 multiplying, that really doesn't work, so I think we're done with the multiplication. So let's go from 10 to 15 plus 5. Now I'm seeing a pattern. First we added 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. So I think we're going to add 6 and get 21. Then add 7 and get 28. Then add 8 and get, that's right, 36. Oops. All right, so, it didn't go up by the same thing each time, but when we wrote it out, we could figure out what the pattern was. All right, so just some hints for you that you probably got from the last video if you watched that as well. Look for an obvious pattern. If you're stuck, think about, do the numbers get bigger or smaller? List how much greater the numbers get by adding and multiplying so that you can try both and see what works. If we try addition here, we see it's plus 2, plus 4, plus 8. All right, well, that's kind of, I don't see much of a pattern there. Let's try this. Times 2, 4 to 8, times 2, 8 to 16, times 2. So when I write out both, I can see that this is what my rule is, times 2. So we can continue it. 16 times 2 is 32, 64, and 128. All right, how about if the numbers are getting smaller? Let's see how much smaller they get by subtracting or dividing. Which one works? Which pattern continues? 80 minus 7 is 73. 73 minus 7 is 66. 66 minus 7. That looks like it's working. And can I divide 80 by something nice to get 73? No. So looks like that's not going to work. So my rule is minus 7. My next term will be 52, and then 45, and then 38. All right. You have this sheet in your practice packet, so I'd like you to take that out, and you are going to go ahead and do this with me. So I want to look at how can we take a sequence like this, 1, 9, 17, 25, and how do we put that into a table? All right, well, you're going to see tables that look like this, where it says position and value of term. And a lot of people don't understand what that means, so let me just show you. Position is, if you think about you're in line for lunch. Position is where are you in that line? Are you first? Are you second? Are you third? Well, think about these numbers as being in line. So the position 1 is which number is first in our sequence. So position 1 belongs to number 1. Position 2 is who's second? What number is second in our sequence? And that's 9. So which number is third, or in position 3? That's 17. Then we could say position 4, 5, 6. The fourth number is 25. Now we need to figure out what's going to come next. So to get from 1 to 9, I'm going to add 8, 9 to 17, add 8. So plus 8 seems to be our rule. So let's continue that pattern. 25 plus 8 is 33, plus 8 is 41, plus 8 is 49. Then we can continue to fill in our pattern. The fifth number was 33, 6 was 41, and then I'm done with my table. All right, let's try this one. Again, position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means who's first in the sequence, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. All right, this one is not as obvious. Let's take a look. 1 to 3 could be plus 2, or it could be times 3. 3 to 2 is minus 1. 2 to 6 could either be plus 4 or times 3. 6 to 5 is minus 1. 5 to 15 can be plus 10 or times 3. So let's figure out what's really happening. When the numbers get bigger, I don't see a good addition pattern, plus 2, plus 4, plus 10. So I'm going to cross that out. That's not working. But I do see that it's multiplied by 3 each time it gets bigger. I also see that when it gets smaller, it's always minus 1. So my rule is times 3 minus 1. Times 3 minus 1 times 3 minus 1. So from 5 to 15, we just did times 3. Now we're going to do minus 1 and get 14. Then we're going to take that number times 3, which is 42. Oops. And then minus 141. So let's put this in our table. Position 1 is our first number, and that's 1. Position 2 is our second number, which is 3. Position 3 is our third number, 2. And then 6, 5, 15. And then we could continue if we had more room. All right, go ahead and you're going to try these patterns. Start with the bronze level. That's your easier ones. See if you can get those right. Then try your silver level. A little bit more difficult. Challenge yourself. And then this is your bonus challenge. See if you can solve these gold level problems. Go ahead and pause the video and then unpause to check out your answers. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the answers. This first sequence, our pattern is adding 3, so 90, 93, 96. Our second one, you can see that subtraction didn't work, so it's divided by 2. And you can use a calculator. You get 12.5, 6.25, and 3.125. All right, getting a little bit more challenging. Silver level, you can see here that multiplication did not work, so I crossed out. I showed what happened each time, plus 1, plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, plus 5, plus 6. My next numbers are 19, 24, and 30. Okay, this next one, I added 5, subtracted 10, added 5, subtracted 10. My next terms are 55 and 45. All right, go level. Those of you that really wanted a challenge. I tried addition, didn't work, so I crossed it out. Then I multiplied times 1, times 2, times 3, times 4, times 5, times 6, and I get 48,240 and 1,476. Last one, this is a really famous, I'm sure not many people got this, but this is called the Fibonacci sequence. This is a really famous sequence. How this one works is you add 2 numbers and get the next one. So 1 plus 1 is 2, then 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 3 is 5, 3 plus 5 is 8, 5 plus 8 is 13, 8 plus 13 is 21, and so on. So again, just remember this one, the Fibonacci sequence. All right, that concludes our lesson. You're going to go on and do the number jumper. Just remember as you do it, I really want to see what are your jumps, how do you get from one number to the next. That's going to help you predict those next 2 terms. Good luck.